Okay, Jeff, I'm going to let you go ahead and kick it off. We still have some people joining, but I want to be mindful of time. So if you can go ahead and get us started, that would be great.
Absolutely. Well, welcome everyone. I'm really appreciative of you carving out time today to join us. My name is Jeff Garrison Tate, and I'm a project manager at the Center on Disability Studies at the University of Texas at Austin. I'm also a mentor trainer with the learning community on person-centered practices. And we're really excited about this series of trainings that we have been coordinating and producing the last, I guess, 3 weeks. So I want to welcome you to Support and Connections, Person-Centered Practices during COVID-19. Our speaker today is Randy Consford, and I'll talk a little bit more about him in a minute. I did want to let everybody know, we looked at the list of people that are attending today, and by far the vast majority of people did not see Randy's first presentation. So Randy's going to do mostly a repeat, but we're also going to add at the end time for questions, comments, and so that we can respond to those, so that Randy can respond to those. We also are hoping perhaps that some of the folks that came last time went back home and did a one-page description. And if you did and you're okay with sharing it, that would be fantastic, because we would love to see that work. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's fabulous, it's fine. We'd love to hear what your experience is. That would be wonderful. Our series is going to end this Thursday with Shelby Davenport, a People Planning Together self-advocate who will speak particularly to people who receive services, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Our upcoming, and that will close out our series for this year. And we're looking forward to bringing you more training sessions after the first of the year, specific to supporting people that are in state-supported living centers, people who live in nursing facilities, as well as people that live in community through perhaps an HHS, a home and community-based services program. So we'll be continuing this next year. We're really excited about that. So I want to introduce Cinda Green from Parent to Parent. And Parent to Parent is a key partner on this project with the center. And Cinda, among many things, is also a transition coordinator at Parent to Parent and works with parents a whole lot around supporting their kids to transition. Anyway, so Cinda, you want to take it away with some housekeeping? We'd really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. So Texas Parent to Parent and myself, we are very excited to be a part of this program. I'm the behind the scenes kind of person, so I'll be monitoring the chat box. We will be utilizing the chat box today. If everybody can please make sure that their phones are on mute so that there's no background noise and people can hear Randy okay. I will be dropping links into the chat box. So I'll be putting links into the chat box of COVID resources. And then I'll be putting a link to the one-page profile, a blank one, a blank medical passport, and then just a sample one-page document. So please watch the chat box. If at any point you end this series and you have any questions or you missed a link or something, please feel free to reach out to me and I will make sure those links are emailed to you. So I am here to support you guys. Again, thank you, Jeff, for this opportunity, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. I want to introduce Randy Consford now. The session is supporting people with mental illness during COVID-19. And Randy has been married to his wife, Kathy, for 41 years. And they have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. Randy grew up in the mental health field as a child of a mother who struggled with the label of schizophrenia. He currently is writing a book about these adventures. He has a broad work background, including serving as a United States Marine, a minister, hospital chaplain, and over 20 years in the community mental health field in both direct services, crisis planning supervision, and various program director positions. He's currently the director of special projects for Hill Country Mental Health Developmental Disability Center, and is responsible for the management of several projects. He coordinates Hill Country disaster response services and is directing Hill Country's COVID-19 incident command. He's currently certified as a instructor for person-centered thinking, psychological first aid, and has a bachelor and master's degree. So take it away, Randy. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff, and thanks, Linda. Is the PowerPoint up there now? Just want to make sure it's up there. Yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming this morning, and I appreciate everybody being here. I felt kind of festive this morning, so I put my jacket on, and the batteries still work, so that's good. The lights are still going, and I hope today's going to be beneficial for you, and we'll get going. The title of our session is Support and Connection, Person-Centered Practices During COVID. And again, I'm going to focus a little bit, probably, I think it's universal. We can use these one pages on any kind of situation or context in our lives, but we'll focus a little bit on the COVID for this one. Again, these are some of the people that are our sponsors, and we want to thank all of them, appreciate them for doing this for us and allowing us all come together. We're going to take a real quick poll. And Linda's going to put that up there. And so as she does that, if you could just take a minute and answer these questions. And I think you put the last one up, Linda.
Okay, give me just a second.
They're giving me a rating before I haven't even got to do the
I know,
presentation.
right? Okay, I'm going to end that poll.
Yeah.
Okay, just a moment.
No problem. Linda is so great. She keeps us all organized and running here.
Is Linda or is Cindy great? Or Cinda?
What did I say? Linda?
You keep calling me Linda.
It's already been a long day. Sorry, Cinda.
I couldn't help but do that, okay? I had to throw you under the bus.
There you go. I think from here, there looks like there's an L in front of your name.
This one looks right.
Yeah, everybody's punching them in.
We'll wait for just a couple more seconds. Almost everybody has responded.
Good job, everybody. I think it's kind of slowed down. It's like the popcorn, the popping stopped. Well, I'll go ahead just real quick. In question one, we asked if anybody, have you ever attended a 12-hour person-centered thinking training? We've had 32% said yes, and 68% said no. I am not afraid to make plugs. So if, later on, let us know if you're interested in one, and we might see if we can figure something out. The person-centered thinking trainings are well worth it. Do you know someone that has been positive COVID? And it's almost 89% have said yes. And I think, that just shows the widespread and the impact that COVID has had to everyone. And then what best describes your status? And it looks like the majority of folks they provide supports in the mental health field or probably also IDD. And then we have some family members. And we have some self-advocates and some of those that receive support. So thank you for all being here. Thank you for doing this poll. And I guess we move to the next thing here. Do you cut that off or do I?
I did.
Okay, so So like Jeff said earlier, if anybody has completed one of the one page that maybe came to our session last week, and if you're new and you haven't, that's okay. We're still going to do the presentation, but we are asking if you would like to share your one page. Cinda is going to put a link into the chat with her email, and if you want to share it, send it, and we'd like to show it to everybody. So we just throw that out there right now for everybody. But what we want to do now is go back and redo the presentation that we did last week and talk about what is a one-page profile. And some of you may be familiar since you did the person-centered thinking training and so forth. I just threw up a few of these that we've used in training before. For example, you know, here's Tyler, who is a child whose mom in the context wanted others to know at school and so forth, who her son is. And so if you look at it real quick, everybody can kind of tell that Tyler likes dinosaurs. And so, you know, that's an important thing for Tyler. And there's a lot of other things here. We're not going to go through each one, but I just wanted you to see a few examples of people that have made one-pagers for different reasons. This is Sam. Now, Sam was diagnosed with cancer. And so his family wrote this. One of the things that they did was that Sam likes beer. He likes Budweiser. And so they found a way, and he couldn't drink them like he wanted to. So the way in supporting him was they're able to make little slushes out of the beer, and he could take sips. And so that was important to him while he was in the hospital. I guess they probably hid that from the hospital folks. I don't know. But anyway, Karen is somebody who lost her partner. And so one of the things that, you know, we often do when someone loses somebody that's important to them, we take them food. And so part of the way in which Karen wanted to be a support during this loss was that she asked that folks not bring food because she likes to cook and she needs to do more of that herself. So that kind of just gives you an idea. You know, here's how we can communicate, how we can tell other people what's important to us, and how you can best support us. This is my granddaughter. And, you know, she's got a lot of things that are important to her, but I always like to share. She likes milk and she always asks for milk. And she does not, what's important to her is don't give her any food that has any burnt marks on it. If you do, it's a problem. But the context of this was us. Sometimes she has little meltdowns every now and then. We asked her, what could we do to help her when she's having one of those? And so she wrote this poster. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it says, you know, talk about it, things like that, write things down, journal, kind of stuff like that. And so she gave us some ways in which we could support her when she's starting to feel, you know, like she's going to have a meltdown. And so that helps out a lot. But what we want to work with is we're going to work with COVID-19 in the healthcare setting. And, you know, as we know, what we want to do is create a one-pager that has basic health information, but it also has a focused one-page profile. And so this would allow, you know, healthcare professionals to know what we would want if we had to go into a hospital setting. The context is COVID-19 healthcare setting. You know, we know that staff that are in the hospitals that are working there, they are very busy. They are overwhelmed. There's so much happening. We have these spikes where hospital visits go up and then they go down. And, you know, I think we all know that most of the folks there want to provide the best care possible. And how do you do it? And with the number of people that are coming in, you know, it's a very difficult setting. They I think want us to help, you know, want to help us if we had to go to the hospital to feel less anxious and more comfortable. And I think the one-page profile is going to be helpful for us to be able to give something to them that they'll be able to look at and then hopefully be able to assist us in our getting better. Of course, I hope nobody gets COVID-19 and we don't have to use it, but just in case. So, you know, before we develop, we need to ask these questions. And so we kind of already answered this, but where's the one-page profile going to be used? What's the context? And so our context is going to be in use for COVID-19 with healthcare professionals or hospital. The second thing we want to do is what do you want people to learn from reading the one-page profile? We're going to give you some examples in a minute, but if you're developing this, you need to ask this question, say, what do you want people to learn about you, to know about you? So often, we're called a quote patient in the hospital, and we want to be more than that. We want people to know about us and know who we are. And so that helps. The third question is, what do you want people to do with the learning? So they know something about you, but what do you want them to do with that? And so that's very important to ask these three questions. Remember, if no one reads this, if no one uses it, it was a wasted effort. So it's real important that, and sometimes we do the one page, because if you had multi-pages, a lot of times people probably wouldn't read it. But very short, succinct words, phrases are very helpful for us to be able to share our one page. So here's kind of what our end product. And one of the things that we're hoping that you'll do is maybe take and I think Cinda is going to put in a link to some of the documents so that you could download them and create your own. And so we're hoping that you'll be able to, make one of these one-page profiles for yourself. I'm going to show you an example of one, but this is one that's the front. You can see the front turned sideways. And then the back is a passport. It's a profile of information related to COVID, personal information, and in our medical condition. That way you would have that information readily available for the healthcare professionals. The nice thing about the one page is it more looks at who you are and what's important to you, and also how to support. So you've got, this is, we'd have this red section here, the one pager on one side and the passport on the back. So let's just dig a little deeper. So here's Elaine's one-page response to COVID. And so if Elaine became positive with COVID and needed treatment or to be hospitalized, she wants people to know. Now, is anybody, and it's hard to ask questions here, but I think it's pretty obvious that one of the things that Elaine likes is roses. And so, you see the picture in the background. One of the things that she would like if she had to go to a hospital room is maybe to have roses in her room. And so that would be one of the things that's important. One of the things that folks like and admire about her is she's friendly, loyal. She says, I'm liked and admired as a person that cares about my family and friends. And so one of the things, how we could support her, because that's important to her, she would like to have pictures of family and friends around. With COVID, we've heard so many stories of people who've had to go to the hospital, and your family members are not allowed to go in with you, or they can't see you in person. And so that isolates you and separates you from those that you love. And so the pictures can help, cameras, the Facebook, FaceTime, things like that would all be things that might be helpful for folks. Actually, I had to take my father-in-law to the hospital yesterday for a little surgery. And it was amazing that we could go to the back door, and we gave him over to a nurse, and then they wouldn't let us in there. And then, it was a minor surgery. He came back a couple hours later. But it seems so weird not being able to go in with your loved ones. And so here's information that you could give to them that they would have and understand a little bit. So, one of the things that she says, that if I'm dying, then I do not want to be resuscitated. So if the doctor feels, that there is no chance that she's going to be able to live, then she doesn't want to be resuscitated. But if she can live and she's not dying, then she has to be brought back. She also likes Diet Cokes. She likes things to do, to be comfortable. And so then you can see this list of stuff. Make sure she has a supply of Diet Coke around. Call or visit if it's possible. If she needs to take a bath or something, she'd prefer females to do that. So all of this just gives you an example of how Elaine can communicate what she wants, what's important to her, and then how to support. Now this is the passport. And so I'm not going to go through each one of these things, but this is basically personal information. You have her name, her address, where she lives, emergency contact, if there's a legal representative, insurance information, pharmacy information, her doctor, and her doctor's really not Dr. Flower or Dr. Tulip, but we added that just to kind of have that in there a little bit since she likes flowers. So this personal information is on the backside of your one page. And it also has current symptoms and risk factors related to COVID-19. Now, Elaine doesn't have COVID, but so we just mark some of these as kind of an example. So if you, for example, was positive with COVID, you might check the symptoms that you have, each one of these, and then that way, any risk factors that you have, and then that would be able to be given to the healthcare professionals, and it would help them to just know a little bit of what's going on with you. Then there's health condition lists. So like Elaine has high blood pressure, vertigo, anxiety. You would have a list of her medications, any allergies that she has, so that the healthcare folks would have that. And then down here is her do not resuscitate orders. And so if you have do not resuscitate orders, one of the problems that often happens is going to an emergency room real quickly. You may not have those documents with you. And so here it lists that her husband keeps this document in a safety deposit box at the bank. And so this allows you to put in where your orders or your advanced directives are, if you have one, so that folks would know where to look or how to get them. So that kind of gives you an example of Elaine. And so I want to introduce you, just to give you an example, to my mom. My mom is a quiet woman. She tries to keep people from noticing her. You don't see it here, but often she'll wear glasses, and she wears this wig. She has nice, beautiful hair, but she wears the wig because I think she often likes to hide behind it so people don't see her. She's very polite, intelligent, resourceful. She writes poems, and she's had several published. And her mom, she loves her sons, and they're very important to her. And probably, not because, just because of this, but two of her sons died in tragic accidents. These are two of my brothers. And it created a loss with her, where she's very concerned about her sons at all times, the two that she has that left. And so often my mom would call in the middle of the night, or 10 or 11 or 12, and she was worried about me. So she would call, and I would answer the phone, and then she'd hang up and disconnect the phone. And it's kind of strange behavior, but it was her way to check and see if I was okay. She wanted to hear my voice. But she's also very paranoid that people are listening, so she quickly disconnects the phone anyway. And she's a simple person, and I'll show you a picture of it in a minute, that carries a nuclear football. And this is kind of a family joke, because it was a bag that she had to carry with her everywhere she went, and all of her important papers were in there. If you do not take that bag with her, or keep it near her, then you're going to have a lot of problems. Mom often got scared of voices that she hears, and people are trying to get in her business. She was labeled with schizophrenia, being paranoid, delusional. And so she was also worried many times that cameras were planted in holes around the house or our vents. And so this was something that I would have to take duct tape and put around the holes or places that she was concerned about, so that she would feel more comfortable. She's good at managing her funds. My mom did die several years ago. And she was one that would always try to help other people. It always frustrated me because she had very little herself, but she liked to take care of others, and taught me a lot about self-sacrifice. And she wanted to die alone. And so one of the things that was very difficult was to be in the hospital and sit next to her, and I couldn't sit next to her, but I had to leave the hospital room when she said it was time for her to go. And she left alone. And I think probably the big part of that was that she loved her sons, and they were very important to her, and she didn't want us to grieve. She would rather be alone than to watch us grieve. So I tell you this because the best example that I could do is I created a one-page for my mom. Now, we should all be creating our own, but I did this for her because with her, the symptoms of mental illness and so forth, it gives us a good idea. And I tell you this story so that you can see her one page that I created for her. And this is what I created for her. And Down to the left, this is the nuclear football. It's a picture of the bag that she carried. She put little pictures all over from magazines on there. This is the two brothers, that's me and my other brother. And these are the things that are important to her. She needed to know that her two surviving sons were okay. She believed the FBI was listening, so she had to have tape on holes. So we would do that, it would make her comfortable. She had to have her nuclear football near her. That was important to her. And so if you have one of the things that we could tell the folks in the hospital if she had to go there is that if she had a phone, it needed to be disconnected, and don't use cell phones with her, because if you do that, it would upset her and creates a lot of difficulty. If they would allow us to duct tape some of the holes, that would be helpful, because then that would make her feel more comfortable. This prevents the FBI from watching her and causing her to try and run away. Now, I'd heard these stories all my life about the FBI watching us. And of course, I didn't believe them as I was growing up. But when I was in the Marine Corps, I spent some time at a school called the Marine Security Guard School. And in that school, I was being taught top secret things back then. This was in the 70s. And I was told that the FBI actually, and some of our intelligence groups, actually do have little cameras that they can put in holes and vents and see what people are doing. And it was at that time that I just thought to myself, my mom's been right all of these years. The other thing is that sometimes folks with mental illness don't want that label. And so my mom didn't, because of a lot of the trauma she had had in mental health system. So she would often use the word back problems. And back problems would mean like all disease, but most of the time would mean it's mental illness. And so here's an example of how we would do a one-pager for my mom if she had to go to the hospital. Again, on the back side would be, her personal information, like I showed you before. There would be the current symptoms and risk factors where we would check. She also had some other risk factors like emphysema, COPS-D, that makes it a little different. We would put her symptoms there. Her health condition, could be listed there, allergies, medication list. And then again, if she has do not resuscitate order. And of course, her paperwork was in her nuclear football. So if you needed to talk to her about it, you could get it from her nuclear football, or she'd pull it out and show it to you if you needed to see it. So real quick, I'm going to give you mine. So one of the things that we did is that we also did one for ourselves. So here's my family, and I have up at the top the blue who to contact, which is really important for this, so that folks would know who to contact. What's important. I don't have my brother on here because he doesn't know as much about me. So it's really important to have the folks that you would want responding to questions about you. So I have my wife, Kathy, and my daughter, Joy. What's important to me? One of the things that would be important to me if I was in the hospital is to be busy, if I'm feeling good, have my family, music, the Marine Corps, and talking to others because I love to talk. How to support me? Well, one of the things, I'm diagnosed with diabetes, so it'd be important if I'm getting grouchy or sluggish or whatever to remind me that I may need to check my diabetes. Let me play games on my phone, hot coffee, I want that. Sit by me if I'm feeling bad. If you've got to make a decision, be decisive. I don't like somebody not deciding real quick. I put in rub my feet, but I didn't figure anybody probably will take me up on that. And then if I get to watch movies or something, I want to watch an action movie. I'm not one that likes the fluffy stuff. So here's an example, very kind of not a lot of information, but enough to cover how you could respond and assist me if I was suffering from COVID-19 in the hospital. Again, the passport, you've got the personal information, our current symptoms, risk factors, and we have the health condition, so forth. And so that's kind of gives you an example real quick. And I was just wondering, Cinda, did anyone else create a one page?
I have 3 that have sent them to me, and so
Okay.
we'll share them at the end.
Okay, just
And then
wanted to check.
And then I had one that said she started it, but she didn't get time to finish it. So that's exciting. Thank you to those that shared it. I will try to be tech savvy and get those up towards the end. So
Yeah,
thank you.
and I'll save enough time for them to be able to share that.
Sounds
So
great. Thank
we'll
you.
move fast here. So how can you, for the folks that haven't made one so far, how can you make a one-page profile? And we'll go through this. I've kind of already told you how by just showing you the examples, but we've got this this sheet that's one of the handouts for you. And you know, there's 3 basic things that you want to put in a one page: a positive introduction, what matters most to the person or what's important to that person, and then how can we support that person. Then you can put pictures in here. You can decorate it any way you want to. But if you're not interested in doing that, it can be this simple, where you just have you know, some boxes with everything in there, and that's perfectly fine because this is yours, and it's how you want to communicate. You know, I want to ask real quick. We don't have a lot of time, but think about what's going on with this man. I don't know if anybody wants to type something in the chat box. But what do you think's going on? And if you saw this last time, please don't answer. But see if there's a couple of folks that will throw in what do you think's going on with this man? Is he angry? Is he happy?
He's concerned. He's
Yeah.
concerned. Anybody else? He looks kind of worried. He's seeing people that he hasn't seen in a while. Concerned, confused.
Those are all good.
Saying goodbye to someone. This is the same look I give when I'm thinking, what in the world?
Good.
Questioning, trying to get someone's attention.
So I found this in I'll let y'all keep writing those down. I found this in an article that I read. Of course, I saw the whole picture, but the reason I put this on is, do we sometimes assume what's going on with people? And, you know, one little picture like this, we make assumptions about what people want or who they are. And so it's very important for us, you know, if we're helping somebody else do a one page, is that we understand what's going on with them. And we can often do that by asking questions, talking to them, having a dialogue is very important. But I'm going to show you next what's going on with this man is that I've lost Joe, my lovely wife and soulmate. I have no friends or family, no one to talk to. I find the unremitting silence, 24 hours a day, unbearable torture. Can no one help me? And so there's a picture of a man who lost his wife, and he put this up on his window at his house. And I think he is just asking for folks to please come and talk to me, spend some time with me. And, you know, it's interesting, you know, a lot of you, I think, you know, he's anxious, he's worried, he's all of that, but we don't really know the context until we can dig a little deeper. And I think that's one of the things that's really important about the one page. We know probably for ourselves, if we're writing it for ourselves, but if we are working with somebody else, it's very important to make sure we're hearing what they want and we're hearing how to support them. So let's get started. You know, review the questions, the 3 things that we ask, you know, and who knows the answers to all the questions. That's what I think I just said with the picture of the man. You know, it's his input that we want to be able to put down. If others, you know, if there's other people we're working with, family members, close friends, caregivers, who needs to be part of this? Who can tell you what others like and admire? You know, so sometimes we found that when we ask people, what do you like and admire about yourself? It gets a little difficult. So sometimes it's helpful to have somebody else say, what do you like and admire about Randy? And, you know, and so somebody else may come up with something and you go, wow, I didn't think of that, but that's true. So, you know, getting others to help us is a great thing too. What do others like and admire, appreciate about you? So one of the ways that we can do this, and I like to do, is to put it up on a board or paper, and we just write down things. You know, write down things that you're good at. Write down things that you're proud of. What do people praise you for? What do people say are your good qualities? And so you write all of those things down, and that's the like and admire and appreciate about you. And so that's real important as we move along in this process. The other thing, and we've talked a little bit about it already, but what's important to you? You know, who do you need to stay in contact with? You know, what's the best way to do that? Through phone or email? You know, who's real important in your relationship map of folks that you're close to? What helps you feel better when you're sick or upset? You know, I like to have my wife come and check on me sometimes, but sometimes people say they don't want anybody to bother them. So that might be important for you to put down. You know, when you feel better when everybody just leaves you alone when you're sick. What helps you wind down, relax, or sleep? You know, we're all different. Some people like to take a walk, or some people like to read or watch television or do something like that. But we all have different things, so that could be written down as what's important to you. We have spiritual practices. All of us have different practices that we may have, and it might help you feel grounded, and it can assist you by listing down what's important to you in this area. What helps you feel valued and respected? You know, one of the things I always like is when I'm talking with somebody to know they're listening. So that's an important thing. So you might write these things down. This is what's important to me. And then, you know, what does support look like? And so, you know, here we are, we have the like and admire, we have down what is important to me, and then kind of be specific on the support. What would support look like? Describe how the healthcare staff can help you feel less anxious or comfortable or calm or safe. Describe the best way for staff to communicate with you. Outline how staff can prepare you with the procedures, tests, and changes in care. You know, do you want to know? I've known a few folks that just go do it. I don't want to know what you're doing. Where other people want to know everything. Explain how you might express pain. You know, whenever they give me that 0 to or 1 to 10, I can't go over 4. It just, I don't know why. And so it doesn't seem like I'm hurting very bad, but 4 to me is pretty bad. Include how you feel, how you prefer to take medications. Include any physical, environmental accommodations you might need, and describe any tips that might help you with staff. And so here's kind of a process. As you've collected what you like and admire about yourself and the important to, and then you do the supports. Now you can kind of review your notes and write a first draft. You know, look for if you've listed 10, 15 things that you like and admire, maybe look for 4 or 5 or 6 of the most important things so that folks would know. Use simple, plain language. Number 3, keep the statements brief, complete thoughts. You don't necessarily have to make a 1-page full of sentences and paragraphs, just kind of short and sweet so that folks can read it pretty quick. And then number 4, when it's done, one of the good things that it's often one of my practices is when I write something, then I stop and I read it out loud. Because that one helps me make sure it's clear. But the second thing is to make sure that it doesn't take over about a minute to read your whole 1-page profile. If you go longer than that, folks are just not going to have time to really look at it. So, you know, that way we can kind of make sure that it's still brief. The next thing that we kind of do is, you know, you can share the first draft with a person and those they choose. You can get feedback from other people if you want to. You can add missing information. You know, if you're helping somebody else write one, you might share it with them, and then they say you forgot something, or I want to add something. So they could add information. But remember, don't make it too long. Photos, pictures, anything like that, you could use. Include a health passport. That's the page that's going to be on the back page. Print it out so it's one page where you've got your profile on one page, and on the back side's the passport. And you know, it's good to maybe print several copies, because you don't know how many you're going to need or you need to pass out to folks. One of the other ideas or things that you could do is you could also laminate it so that you could have it. These are just a few tips, kind of already done these a little bit. You know, print it so that 1-page profiles on the back, on one side, and the passports on the other. Have multiple copies, laminating. Post it in the hospital, post it where it may be seen. You know, and if you move or somebody else that you help do one with, and they move to another place, make sure it moves to a different place, like a different room or something like that. So these are just a few tips that we have. And so again, this is what we kind of want it to look like, not the red and the words, but we have your one page on one side and on the back, the profile. And so that's kind of the example there. And so let's do that poll real quick. Well, let's hold off on the poll, Cinda. Let's go ahead and ask folks, the ones that wanted to share, see how we
Okay.
can work that out.
So if you can stop sharing, I have
I'll
three
stop
that,
sharing.
that I'm going to attempt to share.
Okay. And do they want to describe it or they just want to show it?
That's up to you and them.
Okay.
Here's the first one we have. So it's Brenda. Brenda, do you want to unmute and talk a little bit about your one-page document?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to be looking over to my right because it's a lot larger. So I need to be able to see it because I can't see it. So, yeah, I pulled this one together Friday when, you know, it got to the end of the week and I was like, oh no, I really want to do this. And so I do have a one-page profile that I completed through my training of becoming a certified person-centered thinking trainer. But when I pulled this one up, I was like, I still like that turquoise. So, but what I basically have on here is what people like and admire about me and what I like and admire about myself. Technically, I'm friendly, I'm compassionate, pretty knowledgeable, I'm really dedicated. And I like to be organized and I think that I'm pretty creative. So what is important to me is my family and friends, definitely being organized. My plants are important, journaling and journaling, when I talk journaling, I'm talking about like anything to do with my plants, not necessarily, you know, how my day's gone or anything like that. It's all about plants, the right type of soil amendments, the, you know, the pot size, the watering frequency, stuff like that. So what's important to me is having peppermint decaffeinated coffee in the morning. And then people that I would like for someone to contact would first be my husband, and second, my daughter, and then my mom. And then I do have a best friend, and Mary Beth. So those would be people that would be very important. Those are people that have so much information about me. So they pretty much know me well. In regards to how to support me, if I was affected by COVID and hospitalized, I would want my bed near the window. My plants do need light. So, and I want to make sure that I have my reading glasses. I dislike needles. It causes increased anxiety. So oral medications are perfect. I want someone to explain all procedures and also just to let me know that it's going to be okay. I need somebody around me that's going to throw out some positive thoughts. I care about the way that I look, so I don't want any crazy hospital hair. My blanket and my pillow and my comfortable PJs. At night, I sleep with socks on my feet, and I enjoy having a glass of wine in the evening. And I do fall asleep with the TV on, but don't turn it off because it will wake me up. And I did do a passport. However, I forgot to remove the PHI, but pretty much some of the same information. I included some emails to that, my insurance information, my pharmacy information, and my specialty doctor and my primary care physician. And then some current symptoms and the one medication that I do take and some allergies. I have not decided on the DNR part of it yet because I was undecided. So that I still have time to work on that and have conversations with my husband. So,
Well, it's great. Thank you so much
thank you.
for sharing.
Can I ask Brenda a question? I happen to know Brenda, but one of the things, just real quick, Brenda, is what worked about doing this or didn't work, or what were obstacles or challenges, or what went well?
I think everything went well. I was in a great mind set when I pulled this up, but I ran into a problem with trying to get the blank document for the passport. So I reached out to Cinda. She was very, very helpful with that. And I was like, where do I find it?
So anybody, if, like I said, if you have a hard time finding the document, please feel free to reach out to me and I will get the documents to you. So It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to take yours down and I'm going to share another one.
Thanks, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Alyssa, would you like to share about yours?
Sure. My favorite color is purple, so everything's purple here. And I tried to make it pretty easy to read. So I just went with kind of white background, white boxes. But then one of the challenges was my passport bled through when I printed it. So that I might rethink that. What people like and admire about me: I'm empathetic, sensitive to others, friendly, devoted to family, intelligent, and have a sly sense of humor. How best to support me: need to be part of the process. Ask, don't tell me it's going to happen. Oh, there's Cindy's. I know you.
Sorry, I'll go back. I was playing around because I couldn't find hers. Hold on just a second. Sorry. Oh no. Okay. Give me just a second. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Completely. Here we go.
Is it Alyssa?
Elisa.
Lisa. Yeah, I like that. So when you said you had trouble, it
We're back.
bled into the other side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think perhaps I use the recycled paper and it's thinner. I know my
Okay.
mother-in-law uses the non-recycled and it's a thicker weight paper, but with my thinner paper, it bled through. So you could actually see the reverse imprint of the passport on my thing.
So thick paper is good.
Thick paper is better, definitely.
Okay.
Okay, I want procedures explained to me, but I don't want them dumbed down. Angry or stern tones, especially from men, trigger me. I may hide pain, fear, or trauma behind a smile and compliant behavior. Warm blanket equals comfort. I easily go into freeze mode with anxiety or trauma triggers. And then I listed my food allergies and realized in reading this, I left one of my food allergies off. So back to the drawing board with that part. What is most important to me: to feel safe, feel understood, heard. I need quiet time. I like reading and crossword puzzles, and I love animals, especially dogs. So if there are, hopefully, maybe should have put, if there are ever those dogs that the therapy dogs that they bring in the hospital, I'm a perfect candidate for that. So, and then I added my husband as my contact.
That's a great, I hadn't heard that about the dogs. That is a great thing to put in there. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm
Sure.
sorry I interrupted
Oh,
in there. Okay.
no problem. Thank you.
Cindy, you're up. Let's see if I can get yours up here. Here we go.
Welcome, Cindy.
Hello. Thank you. I went short and sweet on this one. And Elisa, I cannot believe that I didn't consider putting my dietary restrictions on. That is such a good idea, because that's a huge thing. My well-being is really dependent on what I eat. There's some things that I just can't eat and feel well. So thank you for that. I will add that later. So my name's Cindy, and the things that people like and admire about me: I'm told I have a good sense of humor. I'm creative and crafty. So if you leave a napkin on my bedside table, you'll wake up to a little swan or something like that. And I'm a caring friend. What's important to me is my son, who has autism. So my relationship with my son is very important for me, and it's also very important for him, for us to stay connected. Something I hear everybody saying is being involved in decisions about me. I don't like people deciding things for me or telling me what I should do. I like hearing options and then making my own choice. And I like to have my phone nearby because that's how I stay connected. To support me, speak clearly and directly. I'm not a chit chatter. I don't like to chat about the weather. I like to hear the main points of what you need to tell me, and then you can just move on, and that would be great. And I don't like it when people talk around issues or problems. Even if it's something that I'm doing that is challenging for someone else, I like them to just say, hey, this is kind of bothering me about you, or we have a situation we need to talk about. I don't like people to, well, I kind of think maybe things would go better if. That bothers me. I can't even tell you how much. Have an outlet, charger, and phone nearby me. That's a great way to support me. And then just making sure I'm able to see and talk to my son whenever he needs me or whenever I need him. A good match to me is someone who is direct, doesn't talk too much, and doesn't talk down to me. I don't know why the contact information fell off my sheet, but anyway, I did have contact information on my sheet, and it was my husband and my stepmother.
Great. Can I, Cindy, one thing is for matching, I'm very direct, so that would be good, but I'm chatty. So.
Oh, sorry, Randy. We're just not, you can't be my caretaker, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so it wouldn't work for me. But I wanted to ask if you had any obstacles, challenges in doing this, or things that worked well with it.
I think I don't think I felt like I had a challenge when I was doing it, but I will say that hearing other people's approaches got my wheels turning, and I will be going back and revising this. So maybe that would be something like, it's good to bounce it off somebody, or even to do this activity with somebody else, and kind of help each other. Oh, I forgot about diet. Oh, I forgot about phone charger.
That's great idea. Yeah.
So thank you, everybody, for sharing. We hope that it inspires the people that haven't done it yet to start thinking about it and put it together. Because as we continue with this series, we would love to continue sharing and learning from each other. Again, what worked, what didn't work. Again, were there things that other people put on there? So all of that was great. Thank you.
So now we can do that poll.
Okay, let's see if I can do that.
So you can pull that out.
Oh, some of the results were already in, so I'm going to relaunch it.
They may want to take some of those out now that they've actually seen the
I
presentation.
redid it. I made it a clear slate. So
we could get everybody to complete this real quick. Just gives us some quick feedback. And then I'm gonna give you an email here in just a second that I can pass out to everybody. And then I think I need to let you, Cinda, close it off, or is it you and Jeff, or?
I'm sorry, what is the question?
So after this one, I'm gonna put up the your email if somebody has questions or something. And then I think you and Jeff close it off.
Yeah.
Final comments. Okay.
Yes.
I want to, while you're still doing this, just thank everybody. It's really hard to see the feedback from your eyes and faces as you do the presentation, but I hope this was helpful, and I really appreciate your time and your and then those that have that shared their one-pagers, I really appreciate that too. And I think we learned a lot. I probably learned a lot more from looking at others as they've done theirs. I think that's real helpful.
Yeah, Randy, I never thought about putting the fact that I am a vegetarian on my one-page profile. Why is that? Well, it's definitely been added. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too. There's a lot of dietary stuff that I should put in there.
If I could just throw in, you're seeing chats about someone saying, I'm going to take this over the holidays and do it with my whole family. I'm going to be working with the one pager for, I don't know, 60 people that I support. And, the focus is certainly, many of you guys support people
Okay, so the polling's kind of slowed down. So if you're okay, I'm going to go ahead and take that down.
Okay.
So we're gonna
And
end
just so
it.
everybody knows, the last thing that I want to say is that Jeff's also, we're working on a new thing to added in person-centered thinking, and it's called, in the relationship map, we have all of our friends and so forth. And then now we've created the safe person. And so Jeff's been designated as my safe person. And so that's kind of an inside joke, and I'll let him take that however he wants to take it.
I just don't even know what to say to that. So thank you. Yeah, so Randy, thank you so much for your presentation today. I really appreciate the folks that shared their one-pagers. I was saying a minute ago that we had some chat folks coming in talking about, I'm going to take this home over the holidays and do this with my family. I'm going to go do this with the 60 people that I support, So there are multiple ways to do this, and it's really important to note that we do want to support people who are really at risk, and a lot of people with disability labels are at the top of that list. But again, if you aren't there to support them, what does everybody need to know? I again really appreciate your time. I want to thank Cinda from Parent to Parent, and I also want to thank the Center on Disability Studies, who also sponsored this, as well as Money Follows the Person funding. And Shelby Davenport will be up tomorrow. So if you get a chance, come and see what she's up to. Thank you very much for taking your time out today.
Yes, thank you, everybody. We hope to see you at a upcoming session. Everybody stay safe. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Randy.
Oh, good. Now, I am finished. Let me see.
Do you want me to send another link?
Yeah, it's probably better.
Okay. I'll send another link right now. Bye, everybody. Take care. Thank you.